Have you caught the FOMO yet? That is the fear of missing out. Anxiety when we start seeing Bitcoin or really any stocks, any ETFs really skyrocket because they're seeing all their friends taking profit and hearing about all these stories on social media, and they don't want to be sidelined. They want to get in on some of the action. When you start thinking of Bitcoin in general, we know that it's been kind of crazy, even looking at the altcoins, that when it comes to FOMO, I'm going to be going through in this video how really to avoid it. And this is something years ago that I fell trapped to when cryptocurrency was really hot years ago, getting in and getting out kind of at the wrong time and knowing exactly what it is, starting with setting your investment goals. This is the question that I've gotten from a lot of individuals is how do you get rid of the FOMO or how do you stop the FOMO investing? Really going in, it is having a plan. When I have people that come to me and talk about investing into cryptocurrency, I fire back with, what do you know about it? How much have you researched it before you just start investing because you're seeing it on the news, you're seeing it all over social media and everywhere else. You have to have a well-defined plan of exactly what you're going to do. What is your investing timeline? When are you getting in? Are you going to hold it for 4 to 5 years? Are you looking to get some quick gains? You really have to know exactly what it is and also your risk tolerance. If you're putting money into something like cryptocurrency, you have to make sure what are you comfortable with if Bitcoin, let's say, goes down to 80, 85, let's say it goes to 75, back to 65. What is going to be the emotional reaction? At what point are you just going to cut your losses and get out of this? Or are you looking at that long-term investment guideline that a lot of people look at? Now, for me personally, I do invest in cryptocurrency and I do it through dollar cost averaging. So very similar to what we see with my ETF portfolio. I do dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. I do dollar cost averaging into a few altcoins. Me being a gamer itself, there are a lot of crypto games out there, including Gilded Guardians, which I do play and very adamant and avid about. But when it comes to dollar cost averaging, you have a very set amount of money put aside. And let's say it's $50 a month, and that's what you're willing to put into Bitcoin. Putting that $50 into Bitcoin, if the price is 30K, 60K, 100K, putting that $50 into Bitcoin, avoid buying peaks, buying the troughs, getting and really building a gradual position into something like cryptocurrency. But this can be applied to the exact same thing when it comes to investing. Doing the dollar cost averaging, knowing in your budget that, again, let's say you have $50 that you're putting in every paycheck or $50 you're putting in every single month. You're going to do that regardless of where the market is. If it's up, if it's down, you are still going to put that money into the market regardless of everything. And this really gets rid of and really reduces and eliminates emotional decisions. If you feel some anxiety about investing, if you feel anything, don't panic buy, don't panic sell, don't do anything. It is making a long-term plan, writing that plan down on paper and sticking to that plan regardless of what happens in the market, regardless of what you hear on social media, regardless of what you see in the news and what's coming in the future. Guys, it's about the time that you're investing in the market, not really timing the market. The more time and the more that you can dollar cost average into the market, the better position you're going to really be in. Now, you also have to remember that corrections are common and that adjustments are common. It's not every day when the stock market is going to be just going up and up and up. Same with cryptocurrency. Corrections are normal. Corrections, and this again is going back to that very good plan that we have set in place where, hey, I want a dollar cost average into something like Bitcoin. I'm going to do $50 a month. I'm going to do it for the next 4 years. No buying, no selling. It is really sticking to that, putting that $50 in. That's it. If it goes down, you're still putting $50 in. And again, if it goes up, you're still putting that $50 in. So when you start looking and thinking, again, this article kind of covers cryptocurrency. When you look at technical indicators, this is where if it gets very, very data and very analytical, for a lot of people, they bow out. Me personally, I want an entire hands-off approach. I don't want anything that I have to monitor, that I have to track. Because also remember, if you're starting to get into the Bitcoin, if you're going into the FOMO and really want to avoid it, Bitcoin cryptocurrency runs 24/7. You might go to sleep tonight, everything's good, your Bitcoin's at 85K. Tomorrow you might wake up, Bitcoin dropped considerably, it's at 82. A lot of people will panic sell and will get rid of it and eliminate it at that point. You also want to know that when you're getting into positions, is what is the entry, what is the exit, and what does it look like? This is where, hey, I want to get into a position, deciding on the level that you're comfortable with at a price that you are, or looking at either dollar cost averaging or a very, very specific amount. When we start looking at something like Tesla, when you look at Nvidia, where Nvidia is up 2,500% in the last 5 years, every point along the way of the investing journey, people said Nvidia is overpriced. It's overpriced. It's overpriced. We seen the same thing even years ago with Tesla, way overvalued, overvalued, overvalued. Now we're seeing the exact same thing. And again, I wanted to do this video because I'm getting a lot of comments and a lot of questions about Bitcoin. Is it overpriced now? That's what people have been saying forever, guys. There is not really a point where it's going to be overpriced. There's going to be a point where you're purchasing it. The future value cannot be determined and will not be determined by today. It is something that is going to be in the future. If you find value in Bitcoin, just like you find value with US-based companies, that you find value with ETF investing, with the HD, with dividend investing, with income, it makes a big difference on what you believe in, where you think it's going. And again, taking out the FOMO, regardless of what people say, regardless of the things you're seeing in the media. And also, what is the strategy? Me personally, I'm 45 years old, thinking of a 20-year strategy, and that's what I have mapped out. I know right now that we're putting money into ETFs. We know that we have a big chunk of that into the growth ETFs. We also have a portion of that into the dividend ETF, and we also have a portion of that into the core, the VOO, that ETF as well. The percentages are going to change every roughly 3 to 5 years, depending on where we're at, putting a lot more into dividend income. It is the exact same with Bitcoin and with cryptocurrency, is what is your risk and what is your tolerance? When I start looking at this, I allocate 2%. That's right, only 2% of my entire portfolio I do put into Bitcoin. But you know what? It's 2% that a lot more people are doing. I'm not taking a ton of exposure. I'm not going like an Andre Jink, where we're putting 20% into Bitcoin of the portfolio in its entirety. Yes, I do like Bitcoin. I think there's a lot of practical applications, but having some exposure to it, in my opinion, does make a big difference. And it does really align with a lot of people's strategies. Even looking bigger picture, when you start looking at corporate investors, companies are starting to put cryptocurrency through ETFs. We're seeing it with Bitcoin. We're seeing it with the Ethereum ETFs, that they are starting to take a stake into the cryptocurrency. Now, the big thing with this, and to stay away from FOMO, is staying informed, but you have to filter out the noise. This is the most difficult thing when you look at news, social media, online communities, posts, Discord, Telegram, everywhere. You have to make sure, because there's so much exposure, can really overhype and can trigger FOMO for a lot of different people. Some people that don't know zero, absolutely nothing when it comes to cryptocurrency or when it comes to investing in general will all of a sudden go all in. You're gambling. It's like playing a poker hand where you only see 2 of the 5 cards. Those 2 cards, you're making all of your bets based on it. And of course, most people do lose at that point because they'll go in at a certain price. The price will come down. They'll say, oh no, panic sell, just go ahead and liquidate it. Now they took a loss. Now they have that bitter taste in their mouth. They don't want to do it anymore. They want to stay away from it, and they do not want to go ahead and research. Now, like I've said before, and I'll say it again every single time, you have to look at Bitcoin's fundamentals. You have to look at investing fundamentals, know exactly what you're investing in, what Bitcoin does, what the decentralized currency is, what the exchanges are, where to buy Bitcoin. You have to really don't compare your journey to anyone else. Your journey, your investment journey, the reason why you want to invest, the reason why you want to build wealth, whether it's generational wealth or it's wealth for yourself, it is going to be your own individual journey. That is why when personally I sit down and do financial education and counseling with people, we come up with a plan. We don't want to copy the plan. I don't want you to use my plan. I do not want you to mirror all the portfolios that I built, even though I do incredibly well. I want to guide you down the path of knowledge and knowing exactly what to look at and what to kind of get into. You have to manage FOMO with discipline and really patience. Again, as Bitcoin approaches that $100,000 mark, a lot of people tempted to go FOMO, and they don't even know where the FOMO will end and how many of these individuals that have been investing in cryptocurrency over the last couple of days are really the FOMO buyers. Is it the long-term kind of buy and hold mentality? What is it looking for? But again, you have to make sure that you do not go in with an emotional mindset, that you have a plan on how you're going in, how long you're going to be in, when you're going to get out, what price you're looking at. If you're going in at dollar cost averaging, are you putting just a big lump sum in there? which I do not recommend at all because, of course, let's say you put a lump sum, let's say you got $20,000, you throw it in there. Again, you can have a much larger gain, of course, with a much higher risk, but you can also have a drawback and have a much bigger loss, amplified loss because of the money you're putting in there. And again, that's where dollar cost averaging comes in. That's what I've actually done over the last 10 years. It has been incredibly successful with dollar cost averaging. So to manage the FOMO, to really eliminate it, patience, discipline, strategic planning, know exactly sticking to your goals. Where are you going to be? How long are you investing? What is the plan to get out in? Are you planning to get out? Are you planning to sell? Me personally, ETFs, Bitcoin, all of this, I don't plan selling it at any point. It is going to be something that is going to create generational wealth for my family, and making sure that we are sustaining what we have in the investment is growing over time. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.